Ready to go! Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to another podcast. Well, it's been a long time.
A long time.
But you can see we've got the lovely Jordan Davis. How are you, man?
Yeah, doing decent.
Doing decent? That's good to hear.
Better today.
Better today. Yeah, we just came, if you've watched the last video, you'll know we just came off a table time session.
Nice, sweaty and
you felt
greasy.
a lot better today than I've felt during the last month.
Yeah, I probably feel better today than I have in the last month.
I imagine mentally you're going to walk away feeling better after today too, because you were you were pinning me in many positions today.
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Oh,
last month, I'll say it. You felt. I've said if
I'd probably be
the Australian
25, 30%
if arm wrestlers
under.
were shares, I'd be selling.
Yeah.
I've been saying.
Well, that's good because I know a couple of people that want to invest.
Want to buy? GameStop right here. GameStop the share market. Let's lift him up because as I'm short selling Jordan, everyone jumps on. This makes me go bankrupt. But anyway, on a serious note, what's been going on? Arm wrestling. Got a new coach?
Yeah, Coach Ray on board. Thankfully.
Ray?
Yep. No.
Okay.
Really glad to have him on board. I've needed the power bases of. Oh yeah, nice. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, no, I've really needed the power base fundamentals for a long time now. So it's been a long time coming, and eventually we will get there. Ray is killing me at the moment. I've just repeated last week's session, and my arms are wrecked. But no, I'm loving it. Ray. I see Ray and I respect Ray because he doesn't take me as a, cookie cut arm wrestler. I believe that Ray takes each person's strengths and weaknesses, knows what they want out of his training, and then has just, kind of said, hey, this is where I think you need to develop to get to where you want to be. And, you want to be stronger.
I believe Ray really has a tried and tested system. Part of the Latvian crew.
Yeah, 100%.
I believe that core group of arm wrestlers has produced a number of world champions. So you know that when you do a program derived from that region of the world, that it's going to be complete with everything you need to get you to the highest level.
Yeah. So
it's got its own flavour. The Latvian flavour, we've seen a bit of it through Lachlan Adair's progression in the last year under Giannis.
Yeah.
Ray's is slightly different. So I hear.
Yeah, I hear too.
Ray and Giannis are competing with each other on who can produce the better students. So don't let Ray down. I'm sure.
No pressure.
Yeah, well, you're a good advertisement for him. At the end of the day, a lot of people, myself included, have been saying for years, if you get base power, you are going to wreck people.
I hope so.
Because
I'll be a bit disappointed if I finally get it and it doesn't help me.
You've been touted as the love child of Devin Larratt.
Yeah,
you basically are a mini version of Devin Larratt. I mean, by mini, you're not that much smaller. You're just a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
you're not quite as tall, but your elbow to fingertip is
haven't filled the frame
like the
same. Devin went through the same thing, filling his frame.
Yeah, I do think that. Because how old are you at the moment, Jordan?
25, just turned 25.
Fresh. Happy birthday!
Quarter of a century.
I do think when you turn 35, you're going to be a very different body than you are now.
Yeah.
Your metabolism will have slowed down a bit.
Yes. Everyone's going to say you're going to regret that. But no, I am not.
People don't believe how many calories you eat to put on weight.
Yeah.
Do they?
No.
And if you eat any less than that, you just back down.
Every time that I try, I go between 8 to 10,000.
You hear that? 8 to 10,000 calories.
And that gets me up within 5 weeks.
But it's hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Mentally.
And then I've got to keep that going. I've worked it out that I've got to keep it going for another 5 to 8 weeks.
To try to get it to stay.
Yeah, because last time I kept it 6,000 calories for 3 weeks after, and then I ended up losing 8 of the 12 kilos that
that you put on.
Yeah, that I put on.
Yeah, and when you put on 12 kilos, you still look lean. You still look healthy. Everyone says, "Oh wow, you look great."
Yeah.
It's not. You don't see fat.
I feel
on
healthier. My shoulders feel healthier. My joints feel healthier.
But then your body makes.
I work hard.
You work hard. You work in a bunch of hours every week, and
your
metabolism is high, and you inherently are an intermittent faster by habit, aren't you?
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally, you just happily don't eat for the first half of the day.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I just go.
And I can relate to that. I can totally relate to that as I'm a nibbler. I don't do well with big meals. I get full really quickly on a big meal.
Yeah.
So I just nibble. So I can understand the dramas, but your metabolism is still huge.
Yeah.
And I think it'll slow down.
And I'm in a physical job and, work in a hot shed, so it doesn't help my...
Where for me, I'm the opposite. I'm totally blessed. I do nothing physically unless I'm arm wrestling training.
Yep.
And I arm wrestle that's the only time I'm physical is arm wrestling training. And so I get to dedicate all of my body's energy to basically my right forearm. And then I'm just sitting at a cafe working on social media or editing a video or something like that.
Is that why you always go on that side of the camera so your left arm doesn't look disproportionate?
Well, yeah, if I flex and hold this peg, my left arm looks all right. It looks okay.
But you chuck it on the other side whilst your right arm's here.
Yeah, it's like what's going on? But yeah, so your weight is 86 kilos at the moment?
Yep, holding steady.
Okay, so that's a good new normal for you because you used to, it wasn't long a year ago you were 83 as your
and then the last comp I randomly walked in I was 79 kilos back in what was that for Australian, that was 2018 Nationals. I just walked in thinking I was over 80 kilos, about 84, and I was 79. I was like, oh, all right, under 80s today.
Oh, my goodness.
And then Zloty wasn't hard to cut down to 78.
Can you tell us about your Zloty? You just mentioned Zloty. I think a lot of people on YouTube perhaps don't realise how well you did at Zloty and don't realise how close you were to being one of the historic moments in Zloty.
I would have loved that.
Tell
all
us,
of us would have loved that. Come on.
Oh, yeah. It would have.
Anyone
We'll
would
build
love
up to this moment. But tell us about what happened at Zloty for you.
So Zloty, we had that nice plane ride. 30 hours in the air.
Whilst I was a massive layover in Germany.
Yeah, whilst I was
we fly over Poland
on nibbles and a little bit of water.
You had to because you had to get to 78 kilos, didn't you? To compete.
I was only 83 before I cut, so it was like 5 kilos. 10 whatever pounds type thing. Yep. But
so you went into the 78 kilo category
for IFA on left.
IFA. So you cheekily went into IFA. And laid down, didn't you?
Yeah.
You didn't even pull. And I was watching you pull. I was watching you lay down, and I was like, the arm wrestler in me was I was dying at the time. I'm like, Jordan, just win it, just do it, just stop laying down, just freaking win the IFA.
I like chucked my elbow in. I got my full setup on left, and I was like, yep, I feel good, and yeah.
And I was just like, I was dying.
And then turned the shoulder. I was like, go.
Literally, I was coming up to you. When you went to the B draw and I saw you lay down against the dude, and he was one of the favourites to win it, and I said, "How did you feel?" And he's like, "I could have belted him if I wanted to." And I'm like, "Dude, just friggin'
really
win it!
Felt good.
Just friggin' win it! Just win E for left. It's left. Who cares?" And you're like, "No, you laid down." Oh, anyway.
But that resulted in me having enough energy on left.
And the reason you did that was so you could weigh in a day earlier. Because you just wanted to drink.
I just wanted to eat. I just wanted to drink. Everyone else was starting to weigh in. For everything else anyway. So I was like,
you weighed in a day early. You competed in the EFA on left only. You laid down despite having probably the ability to win EFA world title if you wanted, but
it would have been good. Like I definitely felt like I could have made podium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On your shitty arm.
On my shitty arm.
Yeah. Anyway, so Zloty comes around.
Feeling good.
Feeling good. I don't even remember what you did on your left arm, but I don't really care.
I got fifth.
Fifth on left?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe I should care. You did well. How many rounds did you win? How many did you lose to get the fifth?
I think I won, 3?
3 wins, 2 losses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On left. That's solid in Zloty.
Yeah. I felt really good. And the last loss was a elbow that no one could see.
The mystery elbow
The
bubbles.
mystery elbow bubble.
I do think that we were looked at through a very critical.
The amount of times I've looked at that video, I'm like, there is not, like, you can't zoom in any further, and you're like, there is nothing. Like, that's my elbow, and I'm like, I can't. Like, it's right there. It just moves forward.
Yeah. And we saw our opponents get away with massive elbow fouls.
Oh, there was some elbow
So-
fouls that I was like, how did you
Yeah.
not
My-
see like the other guy's whole forearm through that gap?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, my opponent on the left, from Sweden, what's his name? Vaison Tulis. That big elbow foul.
Yeah.
Down ref looking at
directly at it.
and no call.
Yeah.
And I didn't see because I'm competing. I'm looking up here, and
Yeah.
then people in the crowd say to me when I get out, they're like, "Dude, that was the biggest elbow foul I've ever seen in my life," and they didn't call it. And I'm like, "What?" And I go look at the video. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, that was huge.
wow, okay." But anyway, back to your performance. Left, you finished 5th, and you did pretty well. But the right is where you kind of did but didn't, and so very nearly found yourself in the final of Zloty
Yeah.
undefeated.
Would have been good.
Would have been, I believe. I'll get you to tell me the story of the match in a moment, but to paint the context for you, YouTube and listeners on Spotify, Jordan Davis went undefeated. Boom, 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 boom. I think the first 3 rounds you cleaned up, no worries at all. You were then 1 win away from being in the age draw final, which of course, if you make the age draw final, you can't miss the podium.
Yep.
And you faced Patrick Berg, and I believe you beat Patrick Berg twice.
I thought I was going to.
Well, I think you did everything to beat him twice, and you just somehow ended up with the loss. How did that match play out?
We had a mini super match, to be honest. It was 3 rounds in the end. So we set up, and I felt fine. I knew Patrick was strong going in, and obviously you have to respect the man. He's been in it over a decade, so definitely not taking it lightly. So we slipped apart pretty simple. We both went for a top roll, no worries. And at that point, I realised that he was going to try and top roll me. So I just chucked all my chips in, and I was like,
I'll let him walk straight to this.
Yeah.
The lines then that he's going to. He doesn't know what's about
and
to happen.
I went under when we slipped,
so he would have been real happy.
he was knuckles high.
Yep.
So I slipped out, and I dragged my hand through his hand.
Laying all the perfect traps for him
great.
to be confident.
But like his rise and wrist felt really strong. So it was an easier thing for me to do rather than try and fight for the height. It was just to slip straight through.
Yep.
And then straps go on. I'm feeling good, and I know what I do is I lay the bait. When I set up in a strap against a top roller, I don't show all my chips. So it's best for me not to do that. That way, when they turn it on, I can contain it with what I've got and then attack. And that's exactly what happened. Patrick went to drag back, chop, pronate, and I went forward with my hand, and then I just unleashed my hit, got to within...
Busted his wrist back.
Yeah, busted.
Well and truly.
Well and truly. Went down, didn't have enough to make it to the pad in my head, so I thought I'll go back up, and I've got no worries swinging again because...
well, if you saw that last video of us training, when you swing well.
Yeah.
So you're going to go for a swing?
Yep. So I've come back probably centre, and then I've just gone to hit it again, and Patrick's lifted his elbow up in last-ditch effort to...
Because he knew he'd lost the match right then and there. He knew he was about to be pinned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he admitted that afterwards. He was like, I had to do it.
It was very obvious he was about to be pinned. You had full hand control, and your side pressure was accessible.
Yeah.
So that second surge was going to be good night. And he did the old, whoa, which is a rule that I don't like about strict refereeing, that you can deliberately fail and get a restart.
Yeah. I called deliberate and, tried to get it that way. And, the ref said to me, you slipped out. That was deliberate. So I was like, oh, well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was as deliberate as an elbow can be. It was a deliberate. You did that.
Yeah. On the way down.
As you were.
I was in
the
it.
Motion you went like that.
I was halfway to the pad as he's lifting his elbow.
Conjecture there. Had you said protest, you might have been given the win right there as a foul in a losing position from Patrick.
Potentially. Yeah.
So I actually think you did win that match right there. But restart.
We continue.
Restart round 2. What happens?
Round two. I have it again.
You
the
always
same
do the same
setup.
thing. Yep.
I'm feeling good, and I know that Patrick's changed his game plan. He's tucked in with his shoulder. He's rising high. He's got more supinated threat through his hand, and he goes in for the lovely little flop wedge. And I hit, and I feel great. I get him out of the shoulder. I move back to contain. And then as I go to drive forward over the top, I get that lovely little micro elbow foul that I absolutely hated.
And you're in a position, again, I know what it feels like to be in the position that Patrick was in there against you. It's not a good position. It's not a position you lose matches from when they're stopped. Unless he had some absurd amount of side pressure to draw on, which he didn't, because he'd already established that. He was going to get twisted under. And subsequently, you were going to do your little wiggle done. Yeah. And you were being patient then because you didn't want to elbow foul.
I just wanted to, get control and then go, okay, get this done. Let's get to the finals, bingo, bango, bongo type thing. And
so
then
the micro elbow foul, so round 3.
Round 3. Ready to go.
You've done the hard work twice.
Yep.
And you've won the match twice in respect to the hand control and respect to the shoulder line.
Yep.
The finish was there. Oh, no pin. Elbow foul. The finish was there. Oh, shit, I elbow fouled. Your fault. So I don't count that one as a win. So it's 1-1. And then what happens? Round 3?
Round 3. I get in control again. Patrick goes for the drag version of flop defense. And, credit to him, he's got a great pronated.
Kind of flop hook?
Yeah, basically trying to swan it.
Yep.
Chuck the wrist back, drive up with the thumb and pronate. And then he really tucks back with the drag. So almost, a bad version of Michael Todd King's move.
Again, it was something I was doing to you tonight.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. And I felt fine. But as I came back from my initial surge, which I was trying to be controlled so I didn't get another elbow foul, so I just take him out of his shoulder. I come back for control, and Patrick does a brilliant drag and drags me out. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. And he starts to apply down pressure, which I usually, in this moment, hit the hermit. And people are like, what the fuck?
What's the hermit? What is the hermit? It's the hermit is one of the most beautiful hand-based defenses against the press I've ever felt.
I feel I created.
No. This was something we didn't learn from anyone. This is something we learn by discovering.
Yeah.
And
basically, where you aim to change your pressure from rising in a top roll while someone's trying to flop to basically cupping through their thumb and taking away their pronated drive, turning them palm up.
So whilst maintaining a static rising pressure in your arm, you create
pronation,
very heavy down pressure.
Yeah,
in your
heavy
hand.
down pressure through their arm and across their shoulder line.
Despite being in the lower third.
Yeah.
You start to go down.
You turn the pressure onto their arm rather than them putting it on yours.
You famously held up Danny Tesh's press with that move, and he had to elbow foul to get a restart again.
Yep.
Lots of people like restarting against you.
Richard. Yeah. When the match stops, I feel really good.
The match stops against you when people foul deliberately. Danny. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Patrick. So continue. What happens?
Yeah, so I get into my usual defense, and I feel good. Patrick hasn't pinned me. He can't surge through anymore. And I start to move my shoulder around to get more defensive. And then I start to apply my usual force, which is basically pushing across the opponent.
Wedging up?
Yeah, wedging up across the opponent's shoulder line. So imagine you're trying to win shoulder line in a match of a hook. I basically push my cup over someone's palm and turn their pronation
and they give
over.
You a warning.
Yeah.
A verbal warning.
Yeah, they're like, don't push, if you push him off, it's going to be a deliberate foul.
And you're already on a foul.
And I'm already on a foul. So I tuck back and I'm like, okay, I'll try it from another angle. And I try and move towards my hand peg, my left hand peg, to change the angle. Because I'm like, okay, it isn't as strong if I go this way, but I can still do it. And as I go to do it, they warn me again that if I push him off, it's a foul.
Oh, my God.
And because Patrick's already at the back trying to drag back. So it looks like I'm trying to push him off, but in reality, I'm trying to curl over the top of his hand, and he's turning his shoulder out to stop the...
So, you weren't trying to push the dude off. You're simply controlling the hand. And you've got every right to come forward, on the pad.
Yeah, I only moved forward probably half the pad.
Yeah.
And I didn't apply the over force that I usually do, which is like where my arm gets more vertical and then I crush over the top.
For me, what characterises an illegal push off the pad is where it's like a sudden. It's like
Yeah.
it's a deliberate,
Punch.
direct punch down the
Yeah.
line of their forearm to
Yeah.
push them off. That is, but countering like that to get height and hand
Pushing
control.
through
Oh my
and-
goodness, no, that's not.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. So
I retreat back again, and I go, okay, I'll just stick here a little bit longer and hold, and then basically Patrick drives me out of my shoulder as I'm retreating, and I get out and I try and hold it up, but I can't because I'm too far out of my shoulder now, and I've been pressed down, and Patrick gets the win.
yeah, and so
And man, that guy, like, all credit to him, he is a strong guy. Like,
he does. He looks like he's carved out of stone.
yeah, he really does. He's like taken a granite ball and just carved out the what wasn't needed.
He's like proper Calvin Klein model material.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
He's
Got that slick hairdo.
Yeah,
Everything.
he's a killer.
Yeah.
But the disappointing thing for me, I'm sure for you, I was watching it and I saw
Don't get
you.
me started.
I saw you win the match in every round and lose.
Yeah.
You won. You did everything to win the match 3 times, and for 3 different reasons, each round was stopped.
Yep.
And eventually given to Patrick. And I think you were kind of ripped off, to be honest. Ripped off, in my opinion. But the reason reason it was so significant, YouTube, was that if you had have gotten through that round, you were in the age roll final.
Yep.
And you would have faced another top roller.
Yes, my bread and butter.
You had the dream run where you were going to get 5 top rolls in a row.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you never gripped that guy, so we don't know how you would have gone. But
I tried to hunt him down.
It's
Hey,
safe to say, you were the favourite in that circumstance.
in my head, if I'd have beaten Patrick with the time layover as well,
I think
to
so.
finals, I would have. Oh,
And, just knowing knowing how hard it is to top roll you at my weight and at my size and at my caliber, a 78 kilo top roller, I don't know that there are 78 kilo top rollers out there that haven't pre-planned how they're going to take you on that are able to beat you because of your ability to disguise your threat.
yeah.
Your ability to disguise your threat is
yeah.
phenomenal. And that factor alone puts you above so many people, particularly when they first meet you. So I feel like you win that.
The only 2 people
That would have put
I
you
felt,
in the final as the undefeated guy. The top roller would have gone down to face the other hooker. I can't remember these guys' names. I do apologise.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't. I didn't even know
Eastern
them when
European names.
Yeah.
But anyway, the top roller beats the hooker in the slotty.
Flash pin.
He did it easy, and it would have led back to you. And theoretically, you were in a position where you could have then won the Zlotito on your debut, which has only ever been done by John Brzenk. No one else has done it. No one else has done it.
Let alone a non-European.
Yeah. With the, of course, exception of the very first Nemiroff that ever happened.
Yeah.
But no one has ever just come out of the blocks like that and done it, with the exception of John. People like Todd Hutchins won it on their second occasion. But yeah, John's the only one who just turned up and went, I'm the man. And you very close.
It hurts.
It does.
It hurts everyone. It does, because like that day, I wasn't feeling like the strongest version of me, but I felt like the strongest 78 kilo version of me.
Yeah. You definitely feel better at 86 than 78. But
Yeah.
relative to 78 kilo guys, you're a monster.
Yeah.
You're incredibly tall. Your hand is enormous for a 78 kilo guy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so and you use it phenomenally well. There's no lack of technical ability anywhere in your game. It's very complete. So
That's one area that I very rarely, very, very rarely feel like I'm on the.
I don't
bad
think
side
there's
of.
a movement that I can do to you, any degree of subtlety that you don't have the automatic response for.
Yeah.
Already developed. So
Most of the time, it's just power.
it's just, do you have the power to do it? But so I think I always rate you as the most efficient arm wrestler in Australian arm wrestling. And I think a lot of people agree with me on that. So that was your Zlotito experience. You didn't win it. You should have, you didn't.
Should have, could have, would have, didn't.
Yeah, should have, could have, would have, but didn't. All that sort of stuff. But anyway, Zlotito 2021, if it happens, are you going to be there? Remember, your travel's paid for by pound for pound, so You better bloody say yes. But 2021's a difficult season, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, we don't even know. Like,
Because I'm setting up in my mind that we're not going to be able to travel. Pretty much.
Honest, I'm expecting that too.
Like, it looks like 2023 at the moment, you know, and that's
because of quarantine requirements when we return.
Everywhere.
You have to have 2 weeks here when we get back.
And like the stopovers for us, you know, we got to go to Germany,
all over the place.
Malaysia. It's not good stopovers, you know.
You also have to get.
And wear a mask that whole 30-hour flight
time. You have to get government approval to even be able to leave the country at first. So you have to have a...
Yeah, Larry Wheels, hit me up.
Like, you have to have a reason that... reason like it has to be... The reason I would use is essential for your business.
Yeah.
So you'd have to kind of convince the government that your sport is a business, which you could justify that. But anyway, so 2021's lot is who knows what. But... the next thing that if international travel's not on and the Jordan Davis fans of the world want to know, what are you aiming for if you're staying here within Australia?
There's 7 people in Australia that I haven't got pins on, I think, that are all unfortunately super heavyweights. But like, you know, there's, you know, people like, I wish I could get
what's your
uninformed Guntis, but he, you know,
he's kind of retired.
He's retired now. Like, you know, I took the man's wrist and, you know, felt within of taking him out of his shoulder. But, you know.
So who are they? You've got Ryan Scott.
Yep. Ben Carroll.
Lachlan Adair.
Yep.
Brett Coots. Myself. Mario.
I've got pins on you.
Yeah.
I've got enough.
Mario?
See, I'm not.
You're not hunting a match with him,
Nah.
but he's someone that you and him are.
Yeah.
You're a very similar caliber, both of you.
Yeah.
Mario is one of those guys who if I had to bet on who was going to potentially, I back him to beat Ryan Scott. I back him to be right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's feeling that good.
Yeah. Like he's got the power. I know Sydney Club's going to love that.
Is that what that was?
Brought the extra R to power. Yeah. So, you know, he always brings it when he does. I think Mario is still in that lovely learning journey of knowing how to do it. But everyone's got to just making sure that we're still recording.
I am.
No, but
I'm just going to give us... Hold that thought. 3, 2,
seconds,
1.
guys.
Magic trick.
And we're back.
And we're back, yeah. We're recording it. I'm glad I thought of that because they could have dropped out at any moment.
Oh.
I looked down and was like...
That would have been
I know
bad.
this drops out at about the 27. It would have just been just a podcast, audio only.
Which
and we're going to have a special guest who's going to be coming on soon.
Very special guest. Known me for, nearly 7 years
yeah,
now.
someone that's been chasing you and the ability to pin you. I think he actually has pins on you.
He does.
Yeah, the Queensland State titles on the side table.
Yep.
Side table pin.
Definitely a lot of training.
Yeah.
A lot of training.
Has a significant side pressure drive.
Absolutely. Flops a lot though.
Flops a lot. Does like the flop.
Yeah. Also likes bananas, so you know.
Okay, I get where you go with that one. I had to think for a moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we will have a special guest. I don't know if you worked out who based on that, but
let's put it this way: he's building his way up step by step on Minecraft.
Yeah, it would.
I'm getting good at this, guys.
Certainly is. Anyway, we'll wait for the special guest to arrive, and in the meantime, we'll keep chatting. But so with the Australian scene, you're how high are you aiming for 2021? I know
2021. I'd like to tick 2 of those off if I could. One mid-year and then one at the end. I'll have smaller matches in between, but I'd like 2 by the end of this year, definitely. And, you know, COVID pending, if they can happen or not. So, I'm about to go down the path once I get comfortable with the way that I'm training with Ray to take on the lovely weight gain again, and slowly, you know, bulk up to where I want to be again, and bring some extra power in the right areas through Ray's training. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Guys, I think I hear a knock at the door. Our special guest just arrived. Let me just go let him in, and we'll be back in a moment. Alrighty, ladies and gents, our special guest has arrived. It is, of course, Bradley Bowen. How are you, brother?
Good.
Good to see you, mate. We've been talking to none other than Jordan the Reacher Davis about everything arm wrestling, and the story goes that you've got a pin on this man. Do you remember the day you arm wrestled Jordan at the Eka?
Yeah?
How did it go? Tell us about it.
Well, I don't really remember.
You don't really remember it? I remember there was a great video on TikTok from you pinning him. I think you used. What is your favorite move in arm wrestling? Which one?
Well, I didn't know it just then, but I like to often make the hook
Yeah.
and then do the top roll.
You like to? Oh, so you like to go from a hook to a top roll?
Yeah. It's a good combo.
It is a good combo, mate.
Because I often beat people with it. If I can get it in that position, I will always win.
Oh my goodness. Who?
But it's a tough job.
It is. It is.
I'd agree with that.
You know who made that move famous, and they called it the
No.
can opener. No, Mr. Devin Larratt himself. You remember Devin Larratt? You actually met Devin Larratt, didn't you?
Yes, I do.
What did you think of Devin when you met Devin? Good dude. He's a bit.
Yes.
He's tall, isn't he? He's like 6'1".
Yeah, he's kind of like that to me.
Yeah, but so tell me about Bradley. Your best ever arm wrestle moment. What about at school? At training?
Come on, it's got to be beating me. That's all I want to hear now.
Who have you?
I think beating Titus for the first time,
Who's Titus?
my friend.
Tell the YouTube who Titus is.
Well, Titus is my friend, and he is very strong.
He actually is tremendously strong. I've seen Titus
Yeah, he can do
a lot of
a
push-ups.
lot. Not just that, he can just every time Titus and me just go to everyone.
Yeah, you just,
We're just like hello, hello, hello.
for YouTube,
Just so easy.
Pedigree right here. Pedigree.
to telling a bit of a story about Bradley's arm wrestling. I remember going to pick up Bradley from school one afternoon, and the arm wrestling was happening, and it was this swarm of boys from Bradley's age up to about 3 years above him that were all just essentially lining up to have a go at Bradley, because Bradley was just king of the table, just next, next,
Across the table.
next, just with pure hair control, hair control. And now, when you're too strong for someone, what do you do then?
I don't know.
As in, like if you're trying to teach them, do you give them real pressure, or do you give them training pressure? What do you do?
Well, if they're like in year 2 or above me,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely go hard on them.
You go hard on them?
Yeah, but younger people like preps,
Yep.
year 1s, those people, because I'm in year 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
That means people below that, I have to easily go easy on them because they need to learn.
They need to learn. So
Some people don't even know arm wrestling.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
A lot of
Can you
people.
believe it? I can't believe that.
It's hard. It's hard.
Is this the best sport in the world, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, what else we got?
That should be a new thing on there, Ryan.
Yeah. So it's the best sport in the world. You like to hook and then top roll from the hook,
Yeah.
can opener style. Do you? How would you rate your side pressure?
I don't really know.
Is it good? Or is it bad?
I'm pretty sure it's good.
Yeah.
I'd say it's decent.
Well, that was how you pinned Jordan that day.
Yeah.
You actually let the wrist go and you side pressure drived, and then I think you had a bit of a flop press at the end.
Yeah.
Flop
I even
fresh.
Kings moved.
What?
I even Kings moved under the table.
Under the table.
It was ugly.
So, Bradley, do you have a favourite arm wrestler?
Jordan and Dad.
Jordan and Dad? There we go. Was it in that order, or was it Dad and Jordan?
Then Jordan.
Oh, thank goodness for that. I thought I would be relegated.
You had to ask. I was feeling good then. I was like, yeah.
No, you're both the same.
Oh, there we go.
yeah.
Very political. Very political there. Very good. And what about out of the international arm wrestlers that you've met? Because you've met Justin Bishop, you've met Devin Larratt, you've met Todd Hutchings.
Matt Mask?
Matt was here. Did you meet him? No, you met Ron Barth.
Yeah, Ron Bass.
I don't think you met...
Giannis? Did you meet Giannis?
Did you meet? Yeah, you did meet Giannis. You've met it. You've met multiple
I
world
think
You know,
I
champions.
like
there's a
Devin-
lot of people
I think
right now
I like
jealous.
Devin Larratt.
You like Devin
Yeah.
the best? He is cool, isn't he? What is it about Devin Larratt that you like?
I don't really know.
Is there something about him? Is it his?
No.
Is it his funny jokes?
No.
No. Is it his?
He has funny jokes.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Is it his laid back nature?
What's laid back?
You know, he's like really chilled. He's a super cool dude. He's like, hey man, what's up?
What arm wrestle?
Yeah, but Devin is a cool dude. I agree with you on that one, Bradley. Do you got any questions for Jordan whilst we got him here? No. You know, guys, what we will do is we will do a plug for this young fella here. This guy has his own YouTube channel, and as you can see, the man can talk. He can talk.
Absolutely.
And he's got a few other skills too, and he's showcasing them. What is your YouTube channel all about, Bradley? Tell us.
Well, either Minecraft or arm wrestling. Basically, just that.
There you go. Minecraft and arm wrestling, two things that.
Yeah, I really like the arm wrestling the best.
Yeah, so we'll get where can they subscribe? What's the name of your channel?
I don't know.
It's I'll help you out. Bradley the Vanilla Gorilla. You can find him on YouTube. How many subscribers are you up to today?
25.
I think it was 23, but you never know, it might be 25. But guys, 23 subscribers, that's pretty cool. If you got any kids that like arm wrestling or Minecraft, you should go subscribe and hang out with Bradley because he's killing it, aren't you, buddy? Yeah, nice. Oh my goodness. All right, getting a little magical. Oh, look at that. Oh, the crowd goes wild. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Boom, boom. Wisdom. Oh. Anyway, enough of all that nonsense. Bradley, thank you so much for joining us on the show, brother. Good stuff. Let me feel that hand strength. I want to feel it. Show me how much. Goodness. You do have a strong hand. For how old are you?
7.
7. Oh, he's got the kickback and climb and down.
Yeah, I can
pat.
see it.
Getting that leverage.
Still getting knuckles high too.
Show Jordan that power. The wrist flexion is there. You can see why he's
You
crushing.
got a stronger wrist than your dad. Jeez. You and Sam Burnett next week.
Oh, there's that side pressure.
And the lat drag too.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, there it is, the clap from Bradley. Round of applause. Ladies and gents, we're going to say see you later to our special guest, and then we're going to continue with Jordan the Reach Out right after this. Guys, we're clearly back.
Yeah.
Vanilla Gorilla.
Hung up the mic and
He's out of here.
gone.
What did you think of his hand pressure?
He's getting good.
It's good. It's what I love about kids.
You know what? Actually, before you go on, what I remember about Bradley was when we first started training, him hanging underneath the table just by his fingertips, just swinging underneath the table like straight arms, swinging.
You know what?
Always had a strong hand.
I think kids. What I like about kids arm wrestling is that it demonstrates how much movement efficiency matters because kids aren't inherently that strong.
Yeah.
They're all on a pretty level playing field, and yet he at the end of the day, Bradley doesn't train for arm wrestling, but he's around arm wrestling. He observes arm wrestling. He hears talk about arm wrestling. He sees arm wrestling in action all the time, and subsequently he moves like an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. It doesn't have to think. It's just like this is what you do. You hook and then you top roll and then you jam with your shoulder, like whatever. And subsequently, kids at school just get crushed by him. Like I said, the king of the table. So I love that kids arm wrestling highlights how much efficient movement matters in this sport. And you were someone who started that way as well, didn't you? I don't want to get into the full story of how you started, but you were.
Let's just say Bradley today was stronger than where I started.
Not quite that extreme, but close.
No, in the hand and wrist, absolutely.
Yeah. But you're someone who values that order of
100%.
Yeah. Why do you value that as opposed to get strong first and then learn to arm wrestle later?
I always think that it's harder to teach a strong guy small tricks. Mm-hmm. That's the easiest way to put it. You know, you ask someone, that can, curl 80 kilos to try and learn arm wrestling for, learn how to arm wrestle afterwards, and it's not going to work out as well in my
They
opinion.
stay in broad movements.
You know, yeah, absolutely, because they've got the bigger muscle groups to rely on and kick back to. And that's why, like I said, similar things to like Sam Burnett, you know, he's always had that power, but now he's at the point where he wants to try and step up and get to that point where he can beat Phil, where Phil, you know, had power at the start, but then he, you know, went down weight and stayed in between for a while, and he was never the strongest guy in the class, so he had to learn how to arm wrestle better, execute faster, all those kind of things, and that's what Sam's got to catch up on if he wants to catch guys like Phil.
Yeah, I agree. It's always interesting because you can always say if two guys are the same strength, the one who moves better will win, but you can also say that if two guys move equally as well as each other, the stronger guy will win.
Yep.
But I do 100% agree with you that when it comes to the learning process, it's easier to teach a weak person how to arm wrestle than it is to teach a really strong person. People like Marcus Atirai, for instance, hugely strong, but because he is so strong, he can stop 99% of people that he pulls with terrible technique. With terrible technique, and so it's hard for him to feel the need to move well. So,
like, imagine if Marcus, you know, had, I don't know, a couple months with Guntis, you know, learning how to top roll then. You know, it's still better than, personally, I think it's still better than what we could give him, you know, over the same amount of time. Even though I think I could impart more knowledge.
He gets to feel a more realistic balance.
Yeah, and where he can't go, where he can go, what he has access to, and what he doesn't.
Even though you and I can beat Marcus, he still, the story isn't complete on the way we're beating him. It's not how an arm wrestler will feel with him when he is up against men of the same physical caliber as him.
No one's going to hit that kind of execution.
At the end of the day, he is stronger than you and I by a long way. A long way.
Well, he's not far from doubling what I can do in back pressure, you know. Like,
he lifted.
It's really not that far.
He lifted 72.5 kilos in that raw back.
So he
pressure.
got 25 more kilos than me.
Yeah, which is up there at the pointy end of all the elites.
Yeah.
So it's teaching a strong guy is difficult. You started weak, so you learned very well, and still to this day you're balanced with people that are much stronger than you, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's what I pride myself on being able to do, and that I think I've kind of built a reputation, especially in Brisbane, and probably across Australia, that, you know, it's not going to be an easy day, whatever class I walk into.
All right, so let's wind up this podcast and show with a topical thing right now in the world of arm wrestling.
Here we go.
If we had to say what's the most talked about thing at the moment, it's probably Levan and Michael.
Gosh,
give us your read. Give us your read on
Do I have to?
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know your opinion. I've given mine on the fix already with Neil's channel. What's your opinion? Where did you see it 6 months ago? Where did you see it? And where do you see it now after having all the Dubai stuff go down?
Well, I met a ball of fluff, and then I saw a raging 10-foot bear come out of a competition.
You're talking
corner.
about, for those who don't know what cryptic code that was, he's talking about the ball of fluff being the soft, gentle teddy bear version of Levan that we met at Germany in the airport, where he was very quiet-natured.
Yeah.
Didn't even look that big, did he?
No, like, I was like, oh yeah, if I put on, you know, twice my size, I could be that big too.
But I actually agree with that. He didn't actually seem to be that imposing.
No, his hand was big, you know, he had solid frame, and I was like, okay, you know, he's a big guy. And then he walked out for comp, and I was like, what the
when he
hell
came out of
is
that tunnel,
that?
and the chest was out, the shoulders were out, and he was
flared.
breathing fire and all that
I could
sort of
literally
stuff.
see, like, the air moving, like the particles in the air because of the lighting. I was like,
Yeah, and he looked like a monster.
yeah,
Okay.
literally.
Yep.
And that's what I'd go with. Like, I think Levan moves well enough, thinks well enough that, like, you and I have different opinions on the way that it could happen, but I think that Levan's got too much
fundamental strength.
Yeah. For what Michael needs to happen. If Levan moves half as well as what he should be able to, I think he can still do it. I think Michael's just the wrong sized human.
Unless there's an error from Levan, he should be okay. If he makes an error, attacks at the wrong time, hits the wrong direction in an attack and loses his wrist, then Michael could take the win and bleed him out.
Like I've met Michael before, and like I'm like, okay, that's a big human. You know, that was back in 2017 when he did WAL, right? And I was like, he's a big human, right? And then I saw Levan, and I was like, that's okay. He's a big sized human. And I went, no, he's not a big sized human, Jordan. That's a freaking beast. He's got a huge hand. If he applies it over the top of Michael's hand, you know, whilst he goes to King's Move, it should be able to contain a small lat drag to elbow movement up to the front to contain Michael's drop and try and lift. And it should pretty much be over after that if Levan just can't smack him to the pad.
Yeah, the smack to the pad may happen. He may have enough containment straight off the go that he can just aggressively go.
Yeah.
Michael really needs to get some degree of his hand or pronation out.
Michael needs to be supinating all hell in the strap setup. All hell.
Yeah.
Supinate for your life.
And at the end of the day, the errors need to be big from Levan for it to go wrong. But the one thing in Michael's favour is Levan hasn't faced Michael ever before.
Yeah.
And Michael's got room for error in his move. Fundamentally, we know Michael's nowhere near Levan. But as Paul Lynn described it the other night on The Fix, the reason people call Michael the monster is not because of his fundamental strength. It's because of his ability to never die.
Yeah.
It's hard to kill Michael Todd. And King's Move rules aside, if he gets it established, does Levan have the ability to lose a round and come back and regain fundamentals? Or does he have the ability to win from a compromised position?
See, I'd say that if Levan was losing, so if he went for a hit per se and cracked his own wrist back, I'd hope that within the person that he is, that he realises that he shouldn't keep trying.
Well, he loves he's never lost a super match, or never lost a round. Sorry, in a super match. So I know he's publicly said all 6-0s.
Yeah,
he's gonna 6-0 everyone.
Yeah,
and that's his kind of legacy, is that he went through the top 8 6-0ing everyone, and he wants to keep that score clean. So he'll fight.
Yeah,
he will. If his wrist back, he'll be flop pressing and all that sort of stuff, looking for a pin. Which is doable. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it is. But
I haven't seen him have to go there. But for instance, in the past, he's lost to someone like Sabin Badalescu. This was many years ago, maybe 4 years ago or something.
Yeah,
Sabin Badalescu, one of the best King's move.
Strong mother trucker.
Yeah, and King's move shape at the end of the day. So
open arm top roll.
Open arm top roll. That's what we're calling it. Yes. We're not going to open that can of worms of what makes the King's move illegal or not. But it's an interesting one, the whole Levan thing. Whether we see it happen or not, it's another question. Igor's kind of tried to come out and publicly kill that.
Yeah.
Which
it doesn't stop what people want to see.
The fans want to see it, clearly.
Like at the end of the day, like as I've heard Neil say, you know, if people just work together, you can both make money and make everyone happy.
Yeah. The thing that I think
you put those matches together, people will watch it. They 100%. Will pay per view.
Yeah, you could easily raise 50 grand in pay per view.
Easy
for that match right there.
Easy,
and then you could have the third party sponsors on top of it. And you're probably going to make
another
couple. There's probably 100 grand behind the match easy. So in this day and age, what I hope people like Igor see and realize is that given the climate of the world, we still need to have arm wrestling matches happening. And he can rest assured that the arm wrestling world wants PAL to survive this period. We want WAL to survive this period. We want all those things, because those two leagues in particular legitimize professional arm wrestling better than anything.
Yeah.
They have a product that holds up arm wrestling better than any garage match can ever do.
Yeah.
So we don't want to see those two organizations fail, and we'll all be back on the support train for them when they happen. But we do want matches in the meantime.
Yeah.
And as you've said, there's still plenty of ways to profit.
And side note, like Australia's just pulled off, the tennis.
Mm.
Like, we've just gotten, half of the international players to come here.
Mm.
Yeah, they had to quarantine, but arm wrestling can be done in a garage anyway.
It's a low budget sport that
Yeah.
we've already proven that we can get two people to Dubai. It wouldn't be hard to get a PAL crew or a WAL
What do you
crew
need, like-
or a film crew, just an independent film crew.
20
Like,
people?
Honestly,
And athletes?
if PAL and WAL both said, all right, let's pick a date. Let's go to Dubai. Both of our production crews will both broadcast on our YouTube channels. Or let's negotiate a deal, broadcast on one, and that person pays the other.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you want to do.
Easy contract right there.
It could be done. An event by event contract. I think all long term contracts, if not abolished, just need to be at least paused until COVID buggers off. Pause all contracts and reinvent the wheel for the next couple of years. Because Levan and Michael needs to happen at some point.
And that only allows our sport to continue stronger through a time of not so great for the sport.
Because we actually have the biggest internet-based following the sport's ever seen right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily, with people like Larry Wheels jumping in love with the sport and probably getting behind it.
And with
The audience is massive.
And if we're going to Dubai, Larry's going to be pumping that thing hard.
Just imagine Larry. Yeah, imagine
You get
Larry
free
live streaming.
advertisement right there.
Yeah, like again, PAL, WAL, Levan, Michael, whoever could easily negotiate a deal with Larry for a pay-per-view on Larry's channel. Larry's got 1 million subs. If Larry asked for $5 for pay-per-view for that match, I would bet there'd be 100,000 people that of his 1 million that would pay the $5.
Yeah.
There's 500 grand.
Problem solved, guys.
And cut a deal with Larry. Give Larry gets 20%, PAL gets 20%, WL gets 20%, Levan gets 20%, Michael gets 20%.
And Larry probably gets more subscribers.
Exactly. There's a 5 ways.
He's not going to complain.
There's a 5 ways. And then there's third-party sponsors.
Yeah.
That you can put their banners up in the background.
100%.
So anyway. It sounds easy.
We understand that it's a little bit harder than that, and people got to overcome,
there's a bit
certain
of
things.
But a bit of pride and ego gets in the way, and got to be my way or no other ways. It's hard to compromise.
But guys, it's all for
for the sake of the arm wrestling.
The people want to see it, and get it over and done with. Like, what's it been now? 4 years of people saying, "Oh no, what about?" Who's to that? And
the one thing I didn't
30
like,
years later,
the one
no
thing
one
I
still
really
knows.
didn't like that Igor said was he backhandedly said that Michael was inferior through the WAL. He kind of implied that he was offered a spot in top 8, didn't accept it. So now champions only pull champions, and he has to earn his way through the Zloty to even have a go at being considered for the top 8. And I'm like, well, hang on a second. Michael is legitimately a badass. He is, no matter who you are, in contention.
If you're willing to put him in a PAL super match against one of the
Against
best
Pushkar,
guys,
against Saplankov.
Trubin.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, half of those people are in the top 8.
Yeah. I mean, let's realistically say Michael Todd just beat Dave Chafee quite convincingly. In his last match, he beat Dave Chafee. Or second last match, he beat Jerry Carteret in his last one. But either way, he beat Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee smashed Gennady Kvikvinia last time. So it's not even. It shouldn't even be a debate. It shouldn't even be about whether Michael Todd is worthy of a shot with Levan. PAL, I do disagree strongly with that approach. I felt that to be kind of insulting towards Michael, and very arrogant in the it's our way or no other way kind of thing. I think compromise is the best solution right now, and split the pie. Yeah. Split the pie and let's get on with arm wrestling.
Yep. Everyone can do a pie graph.
You know, I've always said, YouTube, get me to 1 million subs and there'll be more. I will put more money back into the sport than you can imagine. Seriously, do it. Get me to 1 million subs. The revenue that you make at 1 million subs is pretty darn big, and I'm very happy with the way I live in terms of money. I'm good. I'm 100% reinvesting everything this channel makes into the sport. So if I would like if I had that level of content, man, there wouldn't be a match that happens on my channel that's for less than 10 grand. It just wouldn't. That'd be the way. I'd just be like, all right, I'm gonna travel to here, and this badass and that badass, the world wants to see it. 10 grand, let's go.
It's 10K.
That's how I'd roll. I don't know. I'd keep it low budget in terms of production, but the money would be real because we're at 1 million subs, and we know 1 million subs is big money in YouTube at the moment. Anyway,
All right. Last question for you.
Ooh, question for me.
To wrap up the podcast on me, who would you want me to verse now and at the end of the year?
International or Australian?
Both.
Okay.
Let's make it interesting.
I'll end with the international. Australian, I think that I'd like to see you, first of all, firmly get control of your size, your weight. I'd like to see you at a minimum 90 kilos. At 90 kilos, I'd like to see you take on Ryan Scott. I think he's the man that has the highest reputation among Australian arm wrestlers that I think you have the tools to dismantle. So Ryan, you against Ryan Scott, I think it's a fascinating match, and despite you being 25 kilos lighter than him, if you at 90 kilos, I think you get the job done, and I think you could shock Australia right there.
You're smiling because you can already feel it.
I can. One thing about me is, and you know this of me, is I have an ability. I feel I call it an ability. Call it whatever it is. I don't know. I think I have an ability to see the potential in people way before they can see it in themselves. I know I did that with you. I helped bring you through doubt and self-doubt and helped you become the arm wrestler mentally that you are. And I can easily see you surpassing Ryan Scott. I can easily see you in control of the entire Australian scene if you get control of your body weight. At 90 kilos, I don't think you're number one in the country. No. I think you're number 2 or 3 though. At 100 kilos, I think
really comfortable.
I think at 100 kilos, it's hard to not see you as number one in the country. Honestly, so that's what I'd like to see you do in Australia.
Set in stone 100.
Yeah, if you're not eating excessive amounts to try to maintain that, if it's just your walk around, Internationally, I'm going to keep you at the weight you are, 86 kilos. I'd like to pass the baton of.
I don't know which one's which, but
I don't know what button is. Anyway, internationally, I'd like to pass the baton of my previous aspirations to surpass and beat Justin Bishop onto you.
Oh, okay.
What was it going to be? But no, I think that Justin is someone that I've dropped off my list, not because of a lack of arm wrestling caliber or a disrespect, but because of size difference. I want to chase people that are elite at my body weight, which for me is 95 kilos. Justin's 84, and yes, if he bulked up to 90 and I dehydrated to 90, it would be a killer match. And I'd be ready for that match and would love that match. But
just don't nearly kill yourself when you dehydrate next time.
But given the weight difference and that I'm trending upwards in body weight, I no longer see it appropriate that I push for a match with Justin, because it's kind of like, well, yeah, dude, you're 12 kilos heavier than him, so why are you pushing for that? But like I said, I'd love to see you in that match. I think you have the tools to crack Justin's wrist and to control that, and I think it'd be a good match.
Fair enough. Cool.
And I think I think it would just be a good match. Cool. Happy with those answers?
Yeah, happy enough.
They're two similar arm wrestlers, Ryan Scott and Justin Bishop. Yeah. They both have a similar nasty wrist and back pressure setup.
Actually, it was the same day that we last saw both of them.
Really?
Yeah, in super match together.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gents, if you've enjoyed this podcast tonight, make sure you leave us a like and subscribe, and also jump on your Instagram, Jordan the Reacher.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Say good, eh?
But guys, thank you so much for joining us in tonight. It's good to get the Reacher back on. It's been a while since we've got inside his head, and it was good to see you feeling strong on the table in the video earlier tonight as well.
If you didn't catch it.
Go check it out now.
Yeah. Got something to watch now.
Rich is getting back in form, which is good. Anyway, mate, thank you very much. What's the deal
New
against
form coming soon.
that? Are you a good air arm wrestler or not?
No, terrible.
Phil Rasmussen,
Oh,
too.
he's
He's
best.
a killer. Don't ever air arm wrestle Phil.
No.
All right, guys. Take care.
See.
Yes, that's a man!